You to the action now. Alright, so here's our Pot Hills terrain. Now, this is quite an unusual one. So what do you expect players to do, our competitors to do in a map like this?
Bots. So vehicles are viable, but bots are significantly faster at going up and down the ramps. And you'll see that each of those islands has more than one ramp. They're not you walk, or most of them have more than one ramp. You don't just walk up one side and then go back out that side. So you can cross over them. If your opponent goes bots and you've gone vehicles, they can evade your vehicles by running over and around those, whereas you have to go around them.
Aha. So we're expecting all to go bots, unless maybe one of them decides to go flashy and go with an unexpected air raid.
I was about to say I wouldn't be surprised to find that we have someone transition to air relatively early, simply because it is quite a wide map. It is more viable. Plus, it's the structure of it. It is quite defendable. You know, you only put a few LLTs up, and that bit's covered.
I think Flash had considered putting bots down, but decided to build up his economy a little bit more first before putting down a bot factory. There we go. So
Yeah, air. So the wind can go pretty low. It's it's been 1 and 17.
Yeah, that would be pretty nasty when it hits the one. Subutai going bots as well. Pardon me for jumping all the way to the other side of the map as we take a sneak peek at Jazzcash and Drone and see what they are up to. And yes, Drone is also going with bots.
I've played this map a few times, and yeah, vehicles going down those slopes is pretty much impossible. They are going up them rather. It's way too slow. So I have seen people not actually build a factory on the hills at all, and literally build a factory at the bottom. Because if you control that flat area, it doesn't matter if they've got a little base left on top of that hill. They're not getting any units off of that area, and you could just then arty them to death.
I did wonder if Jazzcash was going to go down that hill when he moved up, but it was just so he could secure the ramp with a light laser turret. So he must be expecting fleas to be raiding very, very soon. And he probably wouldn't be wrong. There's some green dots running across, which I'll have a quick look, which I think are indeed, yes, they are fleas.
So interesting to see that both Flash and Sabotai queuing up. Well, Sabotai queuing up fleas, but Flash is just gone straight off eco and not actually building any military units at all. Drone already with at least one military unit out, but now going on the eco front. I feel like it's very difficult to raid on this map. With the one choke point easily being blocked off by one LLT. It's more about finding where the enemy's base is at this point than actually doing any harassing, I believe.
That seems to be what's happening at the moment. The fleas are moving about. They are checking the hills, trying to work out which points the opposing team have chosen as their start locations.
Although saying that, Drone is going to get a kill on a Rector. Not very important, but, you know, it is something. It's going to pay for that.
Oh,
flea.
Just did it. No. If it was just a second later on the uptake, then Flash would have stopped that. Comms moving out towards the middle. I think it's important for them to do that. It's not a lot that they can do on a tiny little hill.
What's interesting to see is that Flash and Sabotai are both moving pretty close to each other. Although at this point, Flash is moving away to the middle islands. Jazzcash looks like he's going more for the north side.
Interesting that the FX chaps have so little power. I'm surprised that they're making that mistake, actually. Jazzcash is building a nano turret, which is probably a large part of why, or a second nano turret, sorry.
One flea's just got a mech's kill there.
It's going to get a solo in a minute.
He's tried to reclaim it with his with the engineers, but they just didn't move to it. It's not going to get the solo in time.
Nah, it's a shame.
Got a little flea running around, keeping an eye on things behind Jazz Cash.
Yeah, he's been very smart, and now he's got at least one AK defending each of the engineers to stop the fleas picking them off.
Oh, completely sensible.
As
It walks
he
off.
moves it off.
Oh, one job.
You know, we talk about players just not complying with what we're saying. Every time we say, oh, they're going to do this, and this is really clever, and then they do the exact opposite.
Just trying to pick you up, Jazz Cash. Why you got to do me like that?
And the flea's done a fantastic job of cleaning up that hill. I don't think you've seen fleas work so hard before. The Pee-wees are at it against the AKs up north.
So what we're starting to see here is that very split down the middle approach here. Neither of the two middle, Flash and Drone, really caring about the bottom line at all. More focused on the quickest point to the base. Flash is switching over to Rocco's straight away, whereas Drone is building that nano. Still building that nano.
He's building it for a while. For the lack of energy. So there's a lot of exploratory movements going on here, trying to find unprotected routes, and lovely AK trying to go down the back, but it's just been caught out by Supertai's Pee-wees there. Very...
Those commanders are close.
Do they even know?
They must know. I think Jazz Cash must know. Yeah, they're both building LLTs. They're completely aware of each other's presence.
Oh, got some action. Yes. Bit of raiding, try and deny a mech. Oh, that was going to be a Twilight.
That's a nice idea. Especially on a more large and potentially vulnerable map like this, Twilights are really nice. However, because of the structure of it, you can still block it off and defend quite easily, so they're not quite as useful.
Would it made sense to have put the Twilights on the extreme flanks, where I suppose you have to know that you and your opponent aren't really focusing that much on the flanks?
Yeah. Pretty much. I do like that Flash has got that 4 geo spots surrounded by laser turrets. I don't like that everybody is stalling energy right now, though. So Sabotai, very sensibly, is swapping into solars. Unfortunately, he's waited until wind is really low to do it. The advanced solars cost a lot more energy to build, so it's a real investment. You can't start with them, but longer term, it's a more metal efficient investment, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Wanted to take a moment to point out that a relatively new feature in Bar is the radar coverage tool. Absolutely fantastic, and sometimes it's actually surprised me what the results are. And this lovely radar in the middle, it's actually got this lovely blind spot around the foot of the hill, and so I think it's going to be an invaluable tool even for experienced players, because it's not always clear how terrain impacts radar. But sorry.
I was going to say, it's not always clear exactly how the terrain impacts it. So looking at that one that Jazz Cash has built in the middle, I would have assumed it would cover the stuff just to the left and slightly down of it. But obviously there's a large blank spot there. So yeah, as you said, invaluable. It's another example of the constant, like, oh, how can we make the game better? How can we bring quality of life to it without, just completely changing things? Oh, nice Pee-wee attack down the bottom from Flash.
There's a fight going on in the north as Subutai tries to overwhelm Gazcash, but his commander's there and takes command of the situation. There it is. Just in time for it to blow up.
Those Pee-wees probably aren't going to get too far because, well, actually, no. If they go straight down to the bottom right, they're going to get there in time, and Drone's base is going to be in serious trouble. But they're not going to get far beyond that because Drone has a bunch of his own Pee-wees coming to stop them. Oh, and there are 2 LTs on that island anyway. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna
I
be
didn't
alright.
see those at first.
A couple of peewees trying to go down the flank. I just love the way that the teams are still trying to test the ring fences and find weaknesses. So they're running down there, and Subutai and trying again.
The teams are at 18,000 metal produced. There's less than 100 metal in it. The rounding shows them as having the same amount of metal produced at the moment. That's how close this is so far.
That is incredible. Oh, and we've got a forward vehicle plant from Subutai. So
That's interesting.
obviously he wants to try and control the flats around these hills.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the vehicles can go up the hills. They're just, very slow at going up them. He's gone for artillery, which is a really nice idea because, you can shell stuff from extreme range. Helps break deadlocks like this.
Oh, and the commander's nearby as well. So if he can trap the the commander's got an escape route out the back of that particular hill.
I've not really got any worries for Jazz Cash's commander at the moment. There are literally 3 ways off of that place.
There is just no distance.
Yeah, he is definitely not trapped up there.
He's protected by a nice line of defences. He's got his radar, which has actually got quite good coverage for the area.
Yeah. Sabotai is still spamming out Pee-wees from his base. He's just got 100 Pee-wees and 4 Rectors on repeat. Interesting ratio.
So
25 to 1.
wouldn't you sort of expect players to sort of consider going to things like Thuds, Roccos by now?
Yes, however, Sabotai has gone for the vehicle plant, so his Stumpies will make up his frontline bulky units, and his Pee-wees, he can send them either for probing attacks, for scouting, or for flank movements. So if Jazz Cash brings a large force to bear on the Stumpies, Pee-wees can slip in around the side, and if you've got a lot of them, LLTs aren't stopping you.
There's been a fair few geo vents in and around these maps, but I don't recall seeing anyone build a single geothermal plant.
So again, with these ones here, they're all in the middle, so they're very vulnerable. Why would you invest all that time and effort into building one if it's just going to get blown up? I do agree that they're totally worthwhile and valuable, but once you've got all the energy from all these advanced solars, why not? Sabotai has reclaimed his tier 1 bot lab now, so he's stopped the PV spam. I'm wondering if we're going to see a tier 2 move from one of the guys on the western side.
He's going for the hill, see if he can uproot.
Yeah. We've got the Blade Wings and
Jazz
Jazz Cash.
Coming in. They're going to be pretty effective.
Yeah, they're going to completely stop that attack in its tracks. And they'll stop the one from Flash with his resurrected Pee-wees as well.
So cute with those little hangings.
I'm surprised at how much the forces are all converging on one place each time. There's very little fighting all across the line at the same time. There's lots of fighting in very individual places.
Yeah, these matches you've often seen a strike in one place, and that's partly a diversion for a strike in another.
Normally, yeah. So I'm just a little bit surprised at that.
Well, lower the lower part in the centre, there's a bit of a push from Flash. But, yeah,
Drone's
Janus,
Peely attack here is doing superbly. And he's pushing forwards with his resurrection bots a lot as well. Some very good micro from Drone.
Lovely.
Typically, when you've got a unit with travel time bullets, you want to be retreating and have your enemy run towards yours, because you essentially have more range than them at that stage due to travel time. So he's brought in his artillery support is not very good against Blade Wings, it turns out. I'm not seeing any anti-air in this area. He's got a Samson. Oh, now he's brought some anti-air units forwards. They will clean up the Blade Wings nicely, but So remember you were saying about the Pee-wees combined with the Stumpies? Well, here we've got a bunch of AKs performing that exact manoeuvre. He's seen a hole in the defences, and he was diving through it. As I said that, he turns round. It's like he can hear me and hates me. It's like, Teifion, you're wrong, I'm going to make it so.
Well, Cash has just broken through the centre with his AKs. And now that I've said that, rather than go and chase some flashes, decided to send his Pee-wees back to the main line. So, it's because
we are some of the worst casters in terms of competency I've ever heard. But I hope we make up for it with entertainment. Interesting that those AKs have now revealed the air switch from Sabotage.
That's critical information, even if they don't get anything else achieved.
Oh, completely. Cash now, he will start producing fighters soon, I would imagine. He has 3 factories, one of each, and they're all idle. Is he going for tier 2? He's just building a load of wind at the moment. I think he forgot to put them on repeat. Now,
So
the good
much.
news. Also, the good news is that he won't waste the metal and energy. It will just go over to drone. There we are. He's now producing raiders on repeat, so that's good.
Yeah, I think
And
he's done the raiding he wanted to do with the AKs. They've done their job, and he's just leaving them there to receive their severance pay.
Yeah, those AKs have done superbly. Just revealing the tech switch, or the lab switch, huge. Sensibly, Sabotage has built some fighters as well, though. So if Cash has his own fighters, that will buy time for...
Flash is in trouble, potentially. There's a few Janus that have got...
Yeah, Flash is dead.
There we go. That just happened so quickly.
Januses are so powerful for that. And more importantly, though, Drone has the units around there to seize that advantage. I presume he's going to reclaim that. Interestingly, both he and Cash have a lot of metal at the moment. They're only 3k ahead of the other two, so it's not like they're spending loads and getting loads. Yeah, it's almost all reclaim. The actual production stuff is very similar.
Even if they can't use it, it's better to take it so that your opponent can't get it.
Oh, completely. But sometimes it's worth delaying taking it so that you can get it with a storage. Drone very quickly swapping over to building Samsons and some AA, so these gunships will have to get a little bit done as fast as possible.
But they've probably done the main thing is they've pushed Drone back from his original... He was pushing forward, there's a lot of Janus there.
That's it, they've prevented him from pushing.
And now he's going in again.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's bought Flash and Sabotage some time to come up with their countermeasures.
Well, so Sabotage is reclaiming his T1 air lab. He's realised where that's going. Flash is still producing tier 1 bots at the moment. Oh no, he's reclaiming that now. So I don't know if he's just going to build a factory further forwards or if they're actually going to make the tier 2 switch. Cash now has tier 2 bots. He's just building his advanced constructor. Drone is still on tier 1 at the moment, but he has a bot and a vehicle factory.
So the air units have gone to the north to put pressure on Jazz. Doing a little bit of work.
He doesn't have any AA.
Yeah.
He's just built some fighters just now.
But yeah, that island, that hill has finally fallen.
We've got 65 to 59k in terms of metal produced in favour of Cash and Drone again. So again, still really close game, despite the fact that the eastern side have tier 2. I would expect those numbers to change quite significantly once Cash manages to fix his constructor, which has managed to get itself stuck, unfortunately. Yeah, he's just realised it now, that's fine. Drone has made some significant territorial advances. Now, obviously, you can see everything as a spectator. Do you think Drone should keep on pushing west, or should he swing up and flank Sabotage?
I think this is where scouting, you probably want to get some information to work out the best move, because if he tried to move up and stop Sabotage, although maybe, the thing is it's going to take him time obviously to get there, but he doesn't know what could be waiting for him in the south. When he drops his guard, he could lose all that territory he gains. Lovely Pyros. Love those units.
Oh, Pyros are so much fun. Whenever I use pyros, they're weak, flimsy, and they all blow up. Whenever my enemies use them, they are fast, monstrous devils, and you just can't stop them.
Bane of your existence.
I wouldn't quite say bane of my existence, but definitely one of the top 5.
Janus responding. Good response.
Yeah. Well, right until they have to reload.
Until I have to reload.
Yeah.
Once again, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, pyros have the speed to be able to run away from them, assuming you're paying attention, which Jazzcash clearly was. You know,
he's... I don't know if he's playing a dangerous game with his commander being as far forward as it is with the,
that's a very dangerous game. With the Januses, yes. If it was just some artillery or Samsons, then yeah, fair enough. But being that far forwards against Januses and Stumpies, that is risky. Drone is just winning the bottom at the moment.
In answer to your question, Drone has decided to push forward.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't make a prediction. I asked you what you think he should do. I've learnt my lesson on that one. With the FX bros.
Yeah, it's difficult actually. It's not always easy to tell what they know, what they can see, and they've got their instincts of playing these games. So they kind of have that instinct of what they could see, and sometimes it's uncanny that they go, right, I'm expecting an air raid. It's probably going to happen right about now, so I'm just going to put some basic air defense up, and it comes up at just the right time. It's quite scary sometimes how switched on some of these players are.
Very much so. What I can say is that as a spectator, if you double-click one of the players' names, you can also see exactly what the player sees, and it'll follow the camera, just like a spectator would. So that's when Jazzcash and Sabotage were both in the middle. I was able to ascertain that yes, they could see that by double-checking with that. I'm surprised that there's no Tier 2 out from the west side yet. I feel like the fact they've taken so long to get Tier 2 out, it's going to be their downfall ultimately. Because you have Jazzcash pulling away from them so much with his metal production. Standard Mechs makes 8.1 as a Tier 2 versus 2.0 as Tier 1. That's it's a 4 times advantage. You can't beat that.
Got a big push in here from Drone around the back of Sabotage base as well.
Yeah.
Middle one.
Yeah, that could be quite devastating. And Hitak, Jazzcash. Sorry, I'm just so used to attacking, being red for so many games.
Attacker's pushing through it. You've got me doing it. Jazzcash is trying to push back in there with some pyros.
Interestingly, Jazzcash building a Warden, an interesting stage of the game to do that. Especially given the the option of Tier 2. They are pulling away from the min economy now. They're at 100k versus 80k. And obviously Drone has just massacred Flash's economy and forward bases. I can't see the home base lasting that much longer at this stage.
Oh, but Jazzcash just lost his commander.
Ooh, okay, where's Drone's commander? Drone's commander is very safe. It's surrounded by anti-air, so either they had the bombers to snipe it, I can't see that happening.
Sabotage commander still very much on the front line.
In fact, Jazzcash may have sacrificed his commander for the metal. He's reclaiming it right now.
There it is. I'm sure the pyros are gonna.
Oh, there's Sabotage commander. Oh no, the pyros should win this.
Oh no! No! Oh!
Ring a ring around the roses, pocket full of poses.
And that
tissue.
That didn't require many pyros to pull that off.
No.
Pyros, when they die, they actually explode. I think it may be only if you control D them though, but they leave quite a huge explosion radius around them.
So they have a small one naturally. If you self-destruct, they have a much bigger one, similar to the Korgoth, and also crawling bombs. I didn't realise that crawling bombs, they blow up much more if they self-destruct, as opposed to walk into things.
So that means that Jazzcash and Drone are victorious in the first
game. It's best of 3.
game. Yeah, I just realised that we haven't got an easy way of expressing that on the leaderboard.
No,
we were
I
running
think
out
that-
of space. It was quite a unconventionally designed tournament due to
Yeah.
the unique properties, shall we say, of that. So we'll go jump to the standings. Just